looking kind of apparent in there. And they are going to be using Geigerfett as Oranos, Elcid Oranos, and Teres 60. Not exactly sure how to pronounce him, probably Teres. Yeah. He's going to be playing Kronos. This is kind of interesting combination of civilizations in a team game. Not on Oasis, because Oasis is kind of good for raiding as it's wide open and such, but he is in the last moment switching into Oranos, so that's triple Oranos, and that in that case is quite unexpected. You can see that JSS are going to be playing with Adafang as Zeus, that's kind of expected. Count von Count as Thor, that's nice to see his original main god being used, and last one Titu is going to be sticking with Oranos, which is not really any kind of surprise in there. So close your bets, who's going to win, and well, let's see how it goes. If it goes better for JSS than it did for Deities of Death, because definitely GDM, even though they are B team, are not to be underestimated at all, because they come prepared. Alright, so we are starting with, for example, Geigerfett at the bottom, who is playing in the pocket. Am I seeing this correctly? Yes, I am. And he's going to be together with his ally on the left, Elcid, quite close by, whereas the last one, Teres, is actually quite far away. Man, he is far away from his teammates, and I'm not really envying him this position. You can see that even though Tito is also in the corner, he's quite closer to the green player, so it's not really all that bad, but this could be a pretty tough sentence for the purple player, and let's see how this is going to develop, because I'm fully expecting that Geigerfett with Elcid are going to be having a bit of a game with themselves, because of course it's kind of natural to team up with the player that is much closer than the other guy. Looking in the teal base, for example, you can see quite nicely saved gold at the back with berries, and of course also the zebras, which he has seen, I think. He has seen the zebra at the edge, and even if he didn't, he should have seen it through the oracle, so it's kind of weird that he didn't actually go for the hunt, and that should be making his start quite slow. You can see just now switching into economy guild together with the hunting dogs, and you can see that Geigerfett is actually doing exactly the same thing, also having the zebras a bit farther than he would have liked, and that's going to be a bit of a problem. You can see that the only one probably starting with the hunt from GDMs is going to be Tres. And to the left side, he has probably seen them, but no! He has actually also started with the berries, and oh well. Let's see right now quite quickly with the opponents. They are having one zebra, and are they having... Yes, they are having hunting dogs with Adafang. So it's going to be quite fun once he discovers the ones in the forefront, so that's an interesting spawn. Overall, not really safe at all. And the next one is going to be Count von Count, who is having the hunt there at the back, and he's not even going to be using his own zebra. He's going to be switching right into the giraffes so that he doesn't need to move anywhere, having the hunting dogs already. And this is a nice spawn. This is a spawn of the one big one Oasis in the middle, and that's definitely one that I like quite a lot. It has been removed in Age of Mythology Extended Edition, and I didn't really expect, or rather understand the move all that much. It was because of basically making it kind of a bit more turtly, but I don't really think that's the case, because I think this adds quite a lot of extra strategy to the gameplay, because it basically means that you need to be careful about what you do and how you wall up and how you advance into aggression against your opponent. I think this is really a bit different map than the other maps overall, and I really like to see the one Oasis. Manor. Okay, so he's also somewhere on the giraffes. I'm not exactly sure where. I'm not sure what he was building, probably a house. And where is actually the hunt then? Ah, here. He's going to the forefront for the giraffes, which are between him and his opponent. And this is definitely a good idea, because these giraffes are in the middle, and you can see that they are basically mirrored for Elcid. And this is going to be an interesting matchup between those two. Yep. Who goes to basically next stage faster, which should be, at this point, Tito I would be fully expecting, because he was probably having the economic guild faster than his opponent. Temple being built at pretty much the same time, but I'm not sure about the resources, so let's see who's going to be slightly faster, as who is faster is going to be putting his opponent off the hunt, and really, this is going to be game-breaking moment right there at the very start, because I don't expect there to be all that much food at the back, just a few berries, that's pretty much it, with some goatees, and that's it. Nothing extra in there, not ideal. Looking at the relics, infantry attack versus titans, yeah, they could have kept that for themselves. You know, the relic village speed, especially for Atlanteans. That's absolutely nice. Caravan cost speed, great. Another relic, infantry heck armor, pretty sweet, right next to Norse, of course. And in the forefront, yet another relic, probably the last one, if I've seen this correctly. And that's cheaper armor research cost. Oh well, that's not a bad one. Even close to Zeus in here. So Tres is right now through at 4 minutes, so that's pretty decent and fast advance. Going to be attempting... What? Ah, he made him a hero actually, out of his own resources. Well, that's interesting. So that's here with the Valor, and he's going to be having 4 Oracles, going for a bit of raiding on Adafang. Well, that's definitely something he did not expect all that much, and he will have to retreat as fast as possible. And he's advancing through what? Through nothing, actually. So he's going to be in deep trouble right now, even with the Jason. And second shockwave, of course, and I'm fully expecting a third one. Because there are 3 Oranoses. So once more on these, please, please, please. Oh, that should have been a shockwave. That should have been a shockwave for sure, but not really happening. So Jason is going to be the only one to help with the problem in here, and it seems like that Geigerfett is actually going to be helping on the right as well. That's interesting. But luckily for Adafang, he's already having husbandry and a lot of goats right inside his base, so I'm thinking that Jason, together with the Hermes right now coming in, is going to be quite fun. But advance at 540, come on, that's not really ideal at all. You can see that on the left side, Tito is not really better off. Even though he at least has the manor, so these heroes are not going to be all that strong, but with the Murmillo already coming in, those guys are not going to be strong enough, and you can see that Til is, unfortunately for him, not even paying enough attention in here, so he was a bit too slow in the switch-in. So right now they need to retreat, and they will be quite potentially forced off this position quite soon. So let's see, that was nicely used Valor, of course, to give him edge in this battle. And look at how Til actually used the Valor already. On the right side, a bit, you can see the villager in here already being a hero. This is going to be an interesting battle. And I'm kind of expecting that Titu should be winning, because he's jumping into the army a lot faster than his opponent. And this will of course mean that this hunt is going to be not safe anymore for Elcid, and he will be forced to retreat a bit. This is basically halfway for defense, so that he can protect himself and his villagers and continue gathering in there, even though he might be having some kind of problems in the fight. But otherwise, we also see a lot of scouting at the top with the double Prometheans. Little Prometheans getting a bit of a whack at his villagers, and he needs to be careful about this one, as she was almost dead right there. Waves being cast all around by Elcid and Titu, of course, as Elcid is already retreating from the giraffes. And this could be a pretty good spot for Titu to actually go for them faster than his opponent, but he needs to be careful because the battle is not going all that well for him. It's not going bad, but definitely could be going slightly better, and he definitely needs a whole lot more reinforcements than his opponent. 1 counter barracks, 1 military barracks, whereas his opponent is having the same. So they are playing the same strategy, and on the right side you already see that Count von Count is helping quite nicely to his teammate Adafang. And with the towers, yeah, it was ending exactly as we expected, and not much of an advance by Tres or his ally, the red player. So that's definitely a double on the right, and it's going to be finishing with the double there as well. Pretty decent amount of turmas by both Geigerfett and Tres in the offense already, but they are countered by Count's raiding cavalry. And of course, that's going to be quite fun, especially with the troll right now coming up. And let's see if he actually spends some valor in here. He definitely shouldn't, especially when I'm talking about Tres, as these guys are kind of half that. Red could be, but purple most definitely shouldn't be casting valor anywhere nearby. Yep, he's casting it on the right side to help against the centaurs, of course, but it doesn't really seem to be all that much of a problem. As with the tower, that seems to be a whole lot more problematic than anything else. It's also looking like that he's having only counter barracks. Oh, he's actually housed. Just building manor at the bottom. Yeah, he's having double counter barracks, so that's basically full on turma. And from the red player, the same. And he is... No, he's not having military barracks. So they're just full on turma from all of them, and they're hoping that they can actually raid their opponents to death. And I'm not entirely sure that's going to be true, but they need to finish with the wall soon. Yeah, that was nicely played by Count, not allowing him through, but still, there is a way through on the left. That's unfortunately going to be taken by the red player at least. Yeah, he's getting through, so that's going to be a bit of a problem for the game player. In the meantime, on the left side, blue and Til haven't really moved anywhere, but this is a very nice switch. from T2 go in with their nicely placed military building into carry ballistas, and this is definitely a great idea. Both the carry ballistas, but much more importantly the counter barracks in here, because that means that he can supply units basically right into the battlefield, and that's exactly why he's winning in this battle, because you can see this is so far away for the blue player, or the teal player, who is building another counter barracks, and probably will be hoping to switch into carry ballistas as well, as he will be seeing that Murmilos are not going to be all that effective any longer. So goodbye Hunt. There's still 130 left, so come on. Yeah, probably not, isn't interested all that much, as he is much more interested in something else. This might be potentially a bit of a problem, the Geigerfett Turmas, as they will be probably arriving at the back of Titus base quite soon. Whereas in the forefront we are seeing that Arafang is already on his feet quite strongly, having both Centaur Polemarchs and of course also Hippicons, so that's a pretty good combination, nicely walled up. So I'm fully expecting that it's going to be quite fun, and once the wall is finished, which it is just about now, that's not going to be all that much of an extra problem. Warlord Armory, so that should result in Heroic Age from Count von Count quite soon. I don't really doubt that, because when you look at the map, he is already at 2 TCs, going for third if I see this correctly, Arafang also going for second, but switching, or rather finishing with the thought, Count von Count isn't really losing any units, because he's fighting with raiding cavalry against Turmas, and that means that he is most of the time only running behind them, and even when they actually turn back, it's not like raiding cavalry with the 34% of piercing armor are going to be receiving any kind of substantial damage. Second TC also being captured by T2 in the offensive. That's important to notice, that's going to be quite good defense for the villages on the gold and such. And well, still Turmas and Murmilos, and I'm fairly certain that he should be switching into something else like the towers, which is not a bad idea, as he's expecting the offense is going to be coming up quite strongly by JSS T2. Well then, he seems to be just kind of stalled at this point. Still a bit of raiding with raiding cavalry, already medium raiders coming in, but yeah, there's going to be a bit of problem on the gold. But let's have a look in the forward position on Arafang's base, who is going to be forced to face a bit of a problem with Turmas and at least a few catapulties. And well, this troll is definitely on the wrong space, rather in the wrong place at the wrong time. But otherwise, it's almost looking like that Arafang is also trying to raid his opponent a bit. Count von Count doing the same, so they are... Oh, he's going for a second TC. Or is he? Yes, he is. Yes, he is, and unfortunately Count just missed him. That's not really lucky. But he probably noticed at the last moment, right now going at least to get rid of the tower. But they need to be going for the TC, and Arafang exactly is, as he has seen that, and... Oh... Looking at the amount of centaurs, I'm fairly certain this is going to be a snipe, and I'm not sure that the villager is going to survive. I would be thinking that not. Because he's just running away, he's not even hiding in the house. So, goodbye, TC not finished, so that's a pretty important point in the game. And looking somewhere else, for example, on the left, we are also seeing that Count von Count is not really chasing all the Turmas with all the cavalry anymore. He's just sending everything into the attack, and some few harassers are going into the forefront to build long houses and develop themselves somehow further, because it's looking like that Tresco is going to be attempting to somehow control those two TCs, and if he can somehow secure at least one of those, probably this one is going to be much more important strategically, he would be having a pretty nice defensive position right on the doorstep of his opponents, which is not something that JSS would be wanting to actually let happen. Elsid having all the army at the back, preparing to defend against raiding. Oh, this is nicely done. Unfortunately, Geigerfett wasn't paying enough attention. Come on. Oh, just at the last moment, it almost looked like that he actually was at the end targeting the villager to go hide, but unfortunately wasn't fast enough. That means that he's not going to be having enough luck. It's not raiding on the gold, very important one. Pretty much all the gold income that Geigerfett is having, which means that he's not going to be continuing with any of that. A few of them in the forefront, but looking at the army right now by Arafang already, with Hipcons being mediums, well, the problems are going to be getting real. And confirmed by Buggy from Count von Count, And I might be expecting, since he's at 30 TCs, that this might be some attempt at some fast Ragnarok or faster. We are at 30 minutes, so that's like 15 minutes Ragnarok, it's not bad. Looking at the amount of release, well, Longhouse just about now, I wouldn't be putting it past him. So far I don't see any kind of building of market so far. That's a bit of raiding, so that's going to be a bit too much for those two raiding cavalry guys. So unfortunately, Count von Count is going to be losing a bit of economy, unless he has some reinforcements, which he doesn't. And nobody is sending anything extra in there, so that's fairly underestimated by Count von Count. And let's see how he responds to this, because this could be a bit of a problem for him at the back. At the same time, though, he is pushing forward into Purple's base, and quite successfully so. You can see that Red was also trying to build a few units in there, in the forefront, to help his teammate a bit more. But looking like this TC is going to be coming into Adafang's hands, halfway covering the gold, and much more importantly, basically buying them. Is he going right off for the second as well? Oh, he actually is. He's actually going for this TC right off. He's at least preparing for it, so that's going to be a fourth, which I don't think that he can manage just about now, but at 50 minutes, maybe he can. Let's look at the Echo and Dax Pickaxe. So far, not really, but with the help of Count, it should be pretty much easy for them to guard all together. You can also see that on the left, Tito is already at 40 TCs himself, as he has stolen the front one from his opponent, who is attempting a bit of raiding, but since he is being chased by, or rather chased after, at least some army by Tito, I don't really expect that's going to be much of a problem or headache for the blue player. At the same time, he needs to be a bit more careful right next to his TC, as since he has invested in his economy, he's of course not having all that much of an army. The Echo upgrades Hendak's Plow and Shaft Mine, which is pretty decent for him, and looking at some upgrades into the next ages, I would be expecting maybe an next age, but I'm thinking that right now Tito is going to be quite nicely spent on his resources, or nicely, not really all that nicely. And that will mean that, of course, he's going to be having a bit of troubles accumulating resources into upgrade into the next age. Count and Tress are the only ones who are in the heroic age. Right now, this is looking like a pretty good advance into opponent's side, as there's a bit of a switch into Contarius's. Contarai, and otherwise looking at some Echo upgrades for red player, and Dax Plow Shaft Mine. Purple is having what? And Dax Pickaxe and Plow, well, definitely could be doing slightly better, but well, I was going to say that it's working for it quite nicely, but it actually isn't, because he's spending a lot of resources on Steam Fallen Birds, but unfortunately, looking at the amount of Centaurs for Adafam, that's not a good idea, as those guys have a pretty good extra bonus against Myth units, and they are going to be taking them down quite nicely, especially confirmed by the presence of Count von Count Hill Forts in there. He's also going for pretty decent raiding in the middle, stopping front TC, or rather front. Well, it's not like actually Geigerfett is having any front TC as a pocket. Third TC, which is yet again quite crucial, and let's see if we can kill at least a few villages, because they are gonna have that. And if Count played this correctly, he would be having a bit of a chance of killing them, but he's kinda content housing his opponent and having a bit of fun with raiding somewhere else. So Hyperion right now 42. Chaos. Yeah, that wasn't good usage. That wasn't good usage, because you basically want to use it at the point where your opponent cannot replenish it, which basically did happen just about now. So that was a waste of the god power, but unfortunately, Tito was probably thinking that he can be going into the offensive, but that did not happen obviously. So that's that, and Heroic Age is coming from Geigerfett and Adafang as well. Quite important battle right now, because Adafang is somewhere else. Not sure where. Where is Adafang actually? Am I blind, or has he lost all the army somewhere? Huh, this doesn't look like his army, this looks like I don't know what. But it didn't look yellow. But no matter where I'm actually looking, I don't see any yellow army, so he definitely did lose absolutely everything. Or he's really not sure where, which is kind of weird, but right now it's going to be up to Adafang, and it's, or rather Count von Count, and it's looking like that we are going to be waiting for the mythical age from Rafang challenge is coming up. Kind of interesting choice, to be honest. Looking how he's facing Kontarai. But, well, that is happening in here. And looking at his town centers, I'm expecting that he might be jumping into the Mythic. Yeah, he is, into Poseidon, or rather, Hephaestus, sorry. And on the left side, it's looking quite nice for Titu, who is at 40 Cs, of course. And it's not like it's important that he's having 4, but much more importantly, Elsit is just at 2. And that's a pretty big problem for him, because looking at overall, he doesn't have enough army to stop blue. Medium Archive with Copper Mail, Copper Shields. Elsit is having medium with at least Copper Shields, so there's at least something. But still, just normal War Mills, not even mediums. Count for count come in with Fimbulwinter. This is definitely going to help here quite nicely into the offensive, but only if Titu has something to support it with. He does have some heavy destroyers already. So if he could be sending all those onto the town center, that would definitely help. But otherwise, on the right, we are seeing a bit of a flood of Ulf Jarls already. With how many upgrades? Bronze shields, bronze weapons, copper mail. That's pretty decent. And it's also telling us, of course, that he didn't go for Balder, which means no Ragnarok is going to be coming from this Thor. Medium hoplites with Hephaestus coming in. And double temple, or rather temple and fortress, so of course it's going to be a lot of Helipoli and Colossi coming into the battlefield pretty soon. But with them, a bigger amount of potentially archers, but I'm expecting that it should be a lot more. Either hoplites or Myrmidons. It seems like that he's more content with hoplites because of all the cavalry in the Kontarai, and that's not a bad choice, of course. And he of course needs to put in the upgrades somewhere. I'm missing the upgrades. Probably in the base? Not really sure. That's really a very low investment, and since he's already having a pretty decent army, he should definitely be going for that faster than the new units, but so far not happening. But looking at the amount of TCs, 443 for JSS, whereas 213 for the opponents, that's probably not going to be all that much of a problem. Also with Fenris Wolves in here, and we are seeing a bit of a switch to the left, because obviously Elsit is not doing all that well. His front TC, or rather main TC, is going to be stolen in just a matter of moments. And it's looking like that the Fimbulwinter was exactly what Titu needed to push forward with the heavy destroyers, the baseline of upgrades. Not even the Kontariuses or the Kontarai with the base shields are going to be enough in this battle. Elsit having also just copper shields. And that's not a unit, or rather not an armor, that will be making any kind of difference in this battle. Kinda curious why GDMs aren't going for the villager, because he's alone in here. So all these horses should be coming for it, and it's looking like that the Hekagagant, before it fell, was the only horse that was stopping the advance of Titu. Right now even that is not going to be the truth. Now fully expecting... Oh, this is dangerous, as he's going for Hekate, and if Titu can be fast enough, he can stop even that, and he's attempting to do exactly that with the DC just now being finished. And he's not going to finish anymore, as GDMs are right now calling it a game. There's not really all that much of a chance for them to push forward, as on the right side expected happen, heavy hoplites, and the strong double with the mythical Zeus. There wasn't anything that they could have done to stop that very strong advance by count together with Arafang. Well, nice game, but wasn't easy at all, as at the start GDMs quite nicely pushed, especially on the right side of Arafang, but he is an experienced player and he knew exactly how to hold on long enough so that count for count could help him enough. Well, nicely played. And count is going to be having the highest score as the pocket. He was harassed in there, quite nice trading, especially by Geigerfett, but in the end it didn't really matter all that much. No upgrades from Elsit and Tress. That of course makes a whole lot of difference, and Geigerfett not having all that much either. So yep, invest a lot more into upgrades. They make a whole lot of difference in fights. And even in the economy, of course. But really, nicely played. GG.